Welcome aboard the Bitcoin Express. My name is Chase. Let's get to it. Legendary billionaire Mark Cuban has stated in the past that he'd rather have bananas over Bitcoin because at least with bananas, there's some sort of intrinsic value. But this wasn't always the case for Mark Cuban. He did say in the past, in 2017, that a person should put 10% of their savings in Bitcoin. Even the basketball team that he owns, the Dallas Mavericks, at one point were accepting Bitcoin for game tickets and merchandise. So he went from a very positive outlook to a very negative outlook recently, stating that he'd rather have bananas over Bitcoin. But his mindset might change, or it could change depending on a few reasons. He was just on the podcast with Anthony Pompliano, and he did state that there are two things that would get him to change his mind about Bitcoin. The first thing he spoke about was that Bitcoin needs to be so easy to use. It would have to be so easy to use, it's a no-brainer. So easy that grandma could do it. Then you could say it's an alternative to gold as a store of value. So in the space of user experience, making Bitcoin easier, we have been making improvements over the years. Coinbase, one of the most popular exchanges, is definitely a leader in this space. They make it so easy, so simple for people to sign up, and they also have a beautiful app on the iPhone and I believe on Android as well that makes it so easy to buy and sell cryptocurrency and also hold it in a wallet so that you can spend it in a store that accepts it. In addition, Coinbase did win a patent this past year where it would allow users to send Bitcoin to an email address. So typically, we send Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies to these long addresses of complicated letters, and it's easy to make a mistake. We do have QR codes, which makes it simple, but Coinbase has this patent now that's going to make it even simpler. And then on top of that, we know Bakkt, which is a company owned by the same parent company as the New York Stock Exchange. They have been mentioning for quite some time now that they're going to integrate Bitcoin payments into popular stores such as Starbucks. And that's something that they're practicing right now and testing. Integrating Bitcoin payments into big name stores like Starbucks. And credit cards are making it even easier as well. 5 years ago, if you had cryptocurrency, you couldn't really spend it anywhere. But now, Visa, MasterCard, big players in the credit card space have teamed up with companies, making it easy for users to use crypto pretty much anywhere that Visa or MasterCard is accepted. And then on top of that, I could just keep going on and on and on how we're making improvements in this space of making it easy, making it friendly, and user adoption. On the financial side, in the institutional side, Fidelity, one of the oldest and the most trusted financial institutions in the world, they have been holding cryptocurrencies for institutions. They've been acting as a custodian. But now they have just announced that they're expanding to Bitcoin and crypto trading, making it again even easier. Companies like Bitcoin, Coinbase as well, they have a service where they can integrate into any store. You have a pizza store, you have a toy store, it doesn't matter. These companies can easily integrate into your payment system so that any user can walk in the store and spend cryptocurrency. And they use QR codes, and QR codes are very simple to use. I know this whole concept of not using a card or not using cash sounds so foreign, so far-fetched, but this is what's used in China, and it has flourished. It's actually very difficult to even use cash in China today. In China, everything is done from a phone. People use Alipay and WePay. You go into a store, and this is how you buy things. I remember when I was in Beijing recently, I went to a 7-Eleven and I took out some physical cash to buy something, and I saw the lady behind the counter. She was a little, she was taken back. She was a little confused what was going on. And this is going to be the future of payments, whether it is Bitcoin or a government-controlled cryptocurrency. We will move to paying on our phones. Cash is a thing of the past. It might even be the case in the future that credit cards are a thing of the past. To make it even simpler, I could keep going on and on and on. I just pulled these stories, but I can make a video, it'll probably take 3 hours to show you all of the improvements we're making in terms of user experience and merchant adoption. A top Venezuelan exchange launches support for offline Bitcoin transfers. So Bitcoin transfers that can occur over text message. If you go in the Apple App Store, you can see there are so many applications for cryptocurrency wallets, cryptocurrency exchanges. It's becoming so easy to use it. And just like email in the 80s or the 90s, no one knew how to use it, probably because they didn't really take the time to sit down and learn about it. This is the same case with cryptocurrency. It actually is easy to use today, but people haven't spent the time yet. So to Mark Cuban's statement about it has to be easy, grandma can do it, can use it, I agree 100%. And even though we are making improvements in this space, we still have a long way to go. But Dan Held of Kraken said it best. He said gold has an $8 trillion market cap with zero merchant adoption. So why does the mainstream press think Bitcoin can only have value if it's used for coffee payments? And this is so true. There are way more places today that you can spend Bitcoin than there are places that you can spend gold. And then the second point that Mark Cuban made, on top of it having to be easy, that anyone can use it, he did say another thing that would really bring Bitcoin to the forefront and help it succeed is and he said, quote, to Bitcoin's potential benefit, if everything goes into the garbage because we're printing so much money and there's global implications, Bitcoin has something to deal with. And if we don't, Bitcoin's got nothing. So he stated right here that Bitcoin will benefit if we're printing so much money and there's global implications. And that's exactly what is going on right now. The $2 trillion stimulus package has been passed in America. And what makes this stimulus package than all other ones in the past is typically stimulus packages go to financial assets. So it raises stocks, it raises real estate. It doesn't typically enter the consumer market. But with this stimulus package, it went directly into the consumer market. And then on top of that, there is a proposal now that this money is not enough and that Americans making under $130,000 should get a $2,000 stimulus check every month for as long as this crisis continues. So again, this is just a proposal. It has not been passed yet, but it would not be surprising if it does get passed. And it's not just America. This is happening on a global scale. The European Central Bank had a 750 billion euro stimulus package. Japan has a $1 trillion stimulus package. We have India announcing a 22.5 billion stimulus package and Singapore announcing a $33.7 billion stimulus package. And these are just the countries I mentioned. There's many other countries out there with these huge stimulus packages, trillions of dollars being added into the world, into the market. And this is exactly what Mark Cuban was saying. If countries, governments are printing money at uncontrollable, excessive rates, then this does benefit Bitcoin. This is the reason why Bitcoin was created. So coming back to Mark Cuban, in the past, he has said good things, he has said bad things about Bitcoin, and he goes back and forth. With his most recent statements, he did say he does see some light for Bitcoin, he does see some benefit if two things occur. If, when it comes to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, it becomes so easy to do it that even grandma can use it. And then the second thing is that governments and banks around the world have to print so much money, and this will turn people towards something like Bitcoin to see that it is definitely more beneficial and all the positive aspects about it. I hope that you found value in today's video. If you like this content, or if you disagree, go down below and tell me in the comments why you disagree. Show some love, subscribe to the channel, like this video. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.